lot from the session so far. And I have to be very happy that I am part of this conference. I should be on my way to London now for the Speed of Editors Conference. I decided to share it because here is more important to me than those editors there. I've been editor for 32 years. I've worked as media consultant. I've trained many of them for 50 years. But I want to use my time now for Jesus. I thank God that I am here today to listen to these our people on the item. These are some of the faces of my local church today. And I'm very happy to have Bishop Theology and here who have been speaking to us. He has been speaking the truth. And we must listen very well. And today, thank you, my Lord, for your time and for what you have done so far for this conference. And to our General Secretary, he's my friend on social media, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Whenever I look at what he has pushed here and go to everywhere, I will make sure that I publish it and spread for people to know that we are spreading the gospel to the whole world. And you have been doing very well in that. Thank you, Secretary, for coming out. And to our lawyer, I'm just saying for the first time, I'm sorry for not being able to do much, but I've still listened to you when you are making us something here. It was very good. I thank you for giving us some key points as to how communications pressed in Church of Nigeria. Thank you for coming. And Mama Yad, podcast, that's the thing now that you took away from this when we were under the COVID. We thank God that the thing is spreading. But when it is spreading, we should use it to spread the gospel. We should use it to spread it because, like our theologians have said, we need to spread the gospel. The money will come. But we need to spread that gospel to the whole world, to the four corners of the world. Like our primate used to say, very sincere about that. It's very sincere that let us use ourselves to spread this word to the whole world. Evangelization is spreading like a good fire. And we will be part of that. And that's something that is going on now. And that is one reason why you are here. And that's why we are having our general manager for ACNNTV. That is I used to tell people, even that many of before of the standing committee, that we have one of the best technical visitors in Church of Nigeria. Talk about social media, talk about Facebook, talk about this and that, but you don't talk about your station. That is the station, and they are paying for it. My primary is paying heavily for that. For free viewing, what are you doing to spread that in the diocese? We shall talk about that later. Now, we can see this is part of our problem. I see. And we are still in the minority. We are still in the minority. So it's part of our problem. I will start by asking you, what is news? Can anyone tell me what is news? What is news?
Well, okay, that is one. Who can tell me another one? What do you say? Yeah? It's good. Anyway, don't let me waste. Okay. Okay, good. And we don't let this waste your time. up to now, there's no definite definition about news. But it can be simply put as information about current events and can be provided through many different media outlets. It could be through word of mouth, by printing, another availability of news items going around you. As you sit down here, there are so many news items that can come out of this conference. Do you agree with me? If you agree with me, that means you are on to a very good start. But let me go further, because you must have had this in many fora. Writing a good script for any news items. Particularly, I'm mostly concerned about ACNNTV, because that could be our main focus as we go on. During my first week in journalism school in 1974, my lecturer said, for you to become a good newspaper or broadcast journalist, you must know the basics of 5 W's. What do you mean by the 5 W's? It stands for who, was, when, where, and why. These are all questions that a writer should be able to ask and answer while composing their work. And that is very basic, because when you are writing your news item for any, like ACNNTV news in particular, you must be able to lighten their own problem by writing a good script. A good script will get your news onto the tube so quick, without not going through any rewriting. If you can get the basics from the right on, you are right on to a very good start. If you are unable to answer any of these questions successfully, the writing may not be detailed enough, and readers may lose interest or fail to be persuaded. What are the 5 W's? Who means the subject of the writing. Usually a person who is it about, the person you want to write about. What, the action of the subject or event taking place, what is happening. When, the time and date of the action or event, when is the event happening. Where, the location of the event, where is the action taking place. Why, the reason for the action or event, why is this happening. So these are the basics. If you can get this in the introduction, forget about the rest body of the story. Because when you find any press releases, press statement from the church, they are full of verbose English, whatever. But if you can answer these salient questions and you try to structure your news item, so you are on to a very good start. So that is the basic thing that you must do in order to assist, especially any news organization you are working for, or you want to transmit your messages to the public or to church members. So I go to the introduction. Please listen very carefully. because I have some tests. I have some of the speech, not many. I don't think it can go around, but if you can have it, and if I can have it on software to your email, it will be better for you to pick it up. You understand? The church is a public and spiritual institution whose duty is not just to minister the word of God to the people, but also to give succor to them. Communication between the church and congregation is no longer limited to spiritual matters, but also to worldly issues. Moreover, in this age, the need has arisen for the church to communicate with the public beyond its congregation and even beyond its immediate community. When our board came in, say like 10 years ago, we met nothing on the ground. At Wuse, nothing on the ground. The ACNNTV was operating from a port cabin cubicle. We were just there, nothing on the ground to tell you that we are starting a TV. But when we started, we discovered that there are so many faith-based organization TV. They have their own TV stations. And basically, they are on spiritual something. But we now decided that it would be better to have a mixed grade of content. That is what you are seeing now on ACNNTV. We started to carve out like 30% for social and 70% basically religious. Because there's no how you can be in any society that you have to do with what is going on around you. And why are we poor? Why are we doing this? Why is this? We have leaders. We are praying for our leaders who are in government. We must know something about them, and pray for them. And this actually has been the catch for us at ACNNTV. The duty spreading the gospel of Christ is no longer the sole responsibility of priests, but now forms part of the duty of communication officers in the church. So, who is a communication officer? What are his duties and responsibilities? Who should carry out these duties and responsibilities? What tools are available to them in carrying out their duties? These are some of the questions we shall endeavor to answer in this presentation. Very brief, of course. Those saddled with this responsibility of communicating church activities to the church are known by many titles and nomenclature, such as communication officer, public relations officer, public affairs officer, press officer, and so on. The point to note is that all these titles refer to the same role, and holders of any of these titles is expected to do the same job. The church stakeholders can be divided into two, just like any circular organization, and so the communication officer will interact with both. These stakeholders can be categorized into one, internal stakeholders comprising the immediate community within the church. External stakeholders that include the media, regulatory authorities, other religious organizations, and any other person or group that may be impacted by the activities of the church. The communication officer will need to update the internal community of the church with the news announcement of the church activities through internal memos, announcements, and other service notices of the board. While the media may be used to engage external stakeholders, the communication officer will also act as the primary point of contact for the media, responding to inquiry from the public and managing the public relations campaign. Duties and responsibilities of communication officer. The first question we need to answer is, What are the duties and responsibilities of a communication officer? The duties of communication officer are: 1. Communication officer build relationship with media outlets, manage press releases, and handle media inquiries. 2. Messaging and communication. They craft clear and compelling messages to communicate the church mission, values, and activities to both internal and external audiences. Communication channels. Communication officer oversee and manage the church communication channels, including social media, email, and other platforms, ensuring consistent and effective messaging. Stakeholder engagement. They engage with various stakeholders, including church members, the community, and government officials, to build relationship and address concerns. Reputation and crisis management. Communication officers work to protect and enhance the church reputation by proactively addressing the issues and managing public perception. Events and programs. They may be involved in planning and promoting events such as workshops, conferences, and community outreach programs. Research analysis. They conduct research on public opinion, media trends, and other relevant issues to inform communication strategies. Strategic planning. Communication officers need to be involved in developing and implementing strategic communication plans to achieve the church goal. In reality, communication officers are a bridge between the church and the public. They ensure that church message is delivered effectively and promptly to the church, public, and that of the church reputation is positively maintained. Reputation management. The first and most important duty of communication officer is to manage the reputation of his church or diocese, wherever you may put it. This means projecting the church in a positive light and responding to negative stories about its organization promptly and accurately. Every organization at one time or the other faces public scrutiny and comes under the storm of negative stories. It is your duty as a communication officer to douse this tension and correct any misconceptions about the church. The way to do this is through the instrumentality of press or media relations. Media relations, let's talk about media relations. It is one of the most important, if not the most important functions that the communication officer will perform. British business guru Richard Branson said, publicity is absolutely critical. A good PR story is infinitely more effective than a front page advertisement. In fact, other than face-to-face meetings, which limit the number of people you can interact with, at the time the media is your most important means of reaching and interacting with your public. This is more so in this age of social media and has become more ubiquitous, more powerful, and less costly than traditional media. The most powerful media tools needed by this communication officer to convey the church story to the public are press conferences, the press release, and feature story. Social media are in a different element of their own, and we shall talk about this later. Press conferences. According to James Chen, press conferences are events where information is distributed and where the media can ask questions. These events are held to respond to positive and negative news, for product launches, or to inform the media and public about any other information and about the church. This is most important. Crafting press conferences is very important. You don't leave the drafting to your bishop alone. Let the bishop give you his outline so that you can come out with something for him.
The importance of news story. The 5 W's, you must be able to go straight at the 5 W's. It will also contain a picture or pictures, video clips, and soundbites for print, electronic, and internet. These days, the world is moving away from all the times you are seeing in written form, in social media, whatever. People are going more for TV coverage, TV interview. That is what is more important now. Before you know it, it will take over all the media spaces. It will take it over. TV, it will take it over. That is what people want to see. Very short and to the point. People would like to click on it and hear what people are saying or their problems or whatever, instead of trying to read. So that's something. So that is the most important thing. And when I'm still coming back to that, because when you are sending anything to ACNNTV, you don't capitalize on still pictures. It must be video clips. And I'm sure again it's not to discuss on that. How to edit video clips. You know, just saying they are doing maybe confirmation or whatever. They are saying Steve you want to see the people coming out and on one and discussing with them that we can track them when they are watching. It's just like a TikTok something. It's just a film that can come out and without even going the people at ACNNTV, the thing will just click into it. You don't have to wait for them to do it or beg them for you to put it in there. Very, very important. TV is taking over gradually. I mean, it's the thing that is coming on in the social media space. Making your presence newsworthy means writing it in the inverted pyramid style. That's another aspect. Inverted pyramid. You know what pyramid means? So when you are writing it, you put the most important thing there and let it come down, tail down. When you are writing the story, put the most important aspect in it. First, second, and third paragraph. And the rest, just leave it. It will just key into it. Put the most important part of the story in the first few paragraphs. It must be concise and straight to the point. Writing a press release, therefore, requires journalism skills, and it will help a communication officer if he has worked in the media before. You know, like I was asking you the first time, how many of you trained as a journalist? Yes. When you go to school for journalism, that's not the interview. The interview is the practical aspect of journalism. You go to school, yes, you learn the basics. But how do you apply the basics to meet the needs of the society that you are serving as a communication officer? That is the most important thing. And because I can see most of you, you will train so many formations. Maybe you have geography, history, English, so on and so on. That is to help you. But journalism, we just have to give you the basic training to get it done. A good press release should also be devoid of jargons and technical language and acronyms. Acronyms. You don't use acronyms in your news article. Make sure that you spell it out. When you want to write in ACNNTV, nobody will know what is ACNNTV. But you have to spell it out. Anglican television, ACNN. You understand? It's a basis. Short acronyms. Go in your first story, in your first paragraph, spell everything out. So you can use acronyms in the subsequent paragraphs. Features articles. While the president should be concise and straight to the point, a feature article is longer and is usually used by magazines or the features of magazine, section of the newspaper or online blogs. Its cover story is greater depth and uses a different approach. A feature article is written from the human angle perspective and allows the communication officer to display his creativity and dexterity with language. Unlike the news story, which is written in the inverted pyramid formula, with the most newsworthy and important part coming in the first full paragraph. A feature is written like an essay with an introduction, exposition, and conclusion. However, in the news story, the feature must also be newsworthy and address. It is a very technical aspect. Features. It's like when you are writing a documentary. You want people to be attracted to the documentary. Don't just write it just like you are writing a news story. You write it, to bring in the human aspect of it. You want to a village where they are drawing water from the brooks. You go to a village where they don't have a toilet, where they don't have anything. You go to a village where they are having their services or social services under a shed, under ramshackle. So these are the things that we are traveling when you are describing it. That will be concise. To lure in your viewers to be able to listen to it, accompanying it with the picture, the video coming in, attached to it. That will make a very good documentary, rather than just splash a documentary where you cannot even place the head from the toe. So it's very, very important. You have to be very, 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 very careful doing that. When submitting a feature article or writing documentary, you also need to accompany the pictures that I've said, the event you are writing about, and videos. It meant for the television or soundbites, if for radio. Using social media. Now I'm coming to social media. Like I told you, I trained as a journalist so many years ago, and then we know the type of discipline we have, even with the profession, we know. But these days, we don't even know who is the journalist. We discover, we just pick up one day, we find a barber or whatever you call the fashion designer telling you that he's a blogger and tell you I'm a journalist. I will be making a lot of money from that. Big money. They consigned the trade journalists to the background, and that is we used to discuss this thing both in Nigeria and outside this country. It's like that all over the world, and it's the most that is the critical aspect of it, and that is where you, as a trained communication officer, that's why you come in. You don't want now any blogger to come and write anything about the crisis of the church. If you allow the blogger to come and write something about the church, then he will just be writing rubbish for you. And it wasn't the crisis. Instead of managing it wasn't the crisis. So, like I said, we now live in a digitalized world. The world of instant messaging, live broadcast of events, and what that has truly become a global village. Even beyond the wildest dreams of Marshall McLuhan, who coined the term global village. Digital media has shrunk space and time, such that what is happening in one remote corner of the world is visible real time in all parts of the world through social media. We have a TV. It's one of the best in the country. Just last week, Methodists started their own because they want to compete. I will go to use our phones to monitor this television? No. Other something, they are going places and they are having many viewers. But our own, we are sitting down. It's not, we are not getting the right mix. People are seeing us, yes, but they are not like the other flip television you watch. If you watch online or something, you see thousands of going to millions watching at the same time. You want to reach to that level, but we cannot reach to that level without your cooperation. That is the one reason why you must work in tandem with your vision, convincing. Because our vision will be listening to the importance of ACNNTV at every time we are at study committee. We have to give them our review for the year. And they know this, and that's why we have to go out. In this now, some of them, they started buying decoders for all churches. Most of them they are having viewing centers. We must have viewing centers in all the churches, in all the dioceses. Let there are the viewing centers of ACNNTV. That don't think that streaming Facebook, that is it. It's not it, you know. Well, how many of people can Nigeria is still poor, and they are still making us data. Before they will watch something like this, the data is gone. Some people will just watch it, and they will say viewers, so thousand. You must have left it maybe in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. You must have left it, and you just count it as a viewer. But if you have your ACNNTV at your comfort, you watch it. You will watch it, and they are always repeating programs of live programs that are being done. So if you give the opportunity to watch, if you have those centers, if you don't have it, if you cannot buy the products now, you can have those centers. Before I left, the thing was about 12 to 14,000 naira. I was asking the game, so how much is the decoder now? He said 35,000. You see? And then they were buying a lot of decoders then. And people were buying for people. And that is what you must. You have to go back to your dioceses. Please, tell the bishops to have field centers. Let's see how we can buy some of these decoders for the less privileged ones. If we are going to spread the gospel to the north and corner, let us buy decoders and take to the villages with maybe flat screen TV. Go and give them. They will be happy to have it. It won't cost them any much, you know. And we just have something to power it. I know, you can't let me finish. So, I want you, and when you are talking about money, if you have something that is good, you want the ACNNTV to carry the thing for you, why don't you? No, why don't you just ship anything? Just ship anything. Not that you don't say because they want to take money from me. They are taking too much of this or that. Yes, you know, it's our television. But we're not saying our television and we just allow them to not be publishing, to be going without any, to be going up enough to be private every now and then. This was said they have to stop. And we have to help. The ACNN, you have to help. You people have to help. That is the one reason why you should have to go back. And before you leave, by tomorrow, let us see the commitment you people will make to see how you can assist ACNNTV. It's very important to it's very, very important. You are doing well when you are streaming live services for the assistance of the children. Yes, but how many people will stay on it? They will not say thousands of hundreds of films. And that is that will stay there and will be streaming. But the ACNNTV there, you can still be watching ACNNTV, you know, as long as you reach, without paying a call, not fighting. And that's why people are watching to ACNNTV decoder now. They cannot afford 36,000 DSTV is asking every month for food booking. 36,000 every month, and you buy it. Forever you will appreciate it. So I'm pleading with you as you are going back, please think about it. Don't be a problem to ACNNTV. Be a problem solver. Solve their problem. And then they are there to help you. Not that they have that human power to be writing stories. They don't have any power to write. You should write them good stories. That is why I think you have to be structuring your story very well before you send it to the headquarters. Crisis management. The most challenging period of communication officer at the time when the church faced crisis. Crisis is bound to occur at one time or another, whether in the life of an individual or an organization. And when this happens, the communication officer must rise to the occasion. Crisis come in many forms. It could be deliberate misinformation, it could discredit your organization or the church. It could be a self-inflicted error, but as an infighting among the management, it could be an accident or the need for sudden change in the hierarchy and management of the church. According to the brand managers of Brand 24, Madam P. Postcard, crisis management in public relations is the process of preparing an organization for a major event that threatens the business, reputation, stakeholders. She goes further to cancel that during a crisis, the main goal of the PR department should be to inform all the interest parties about the current situation, potential risks.